What do you know? Another Calvin Klein Eternity Summer Edition. Like clockwork, every single year, man. They start bringing them out. They start releasing them. We're going to be having a new Calvin Klein CK1 Summer Edition coming up soon, which I'm actually surprised it hasn't been announced yet. Or maybe it has. I don't know. But we already have the new Eternity. It's already available. So this was a rare instance where it was announced and then actually pushed out to retailers not too long after. So you can get this one now at full retail. I will link it down below, but it's going to be a while until it hits discounters, of course, as per usual. It's Calvin Klein Eternity Summer Daze. So kind of a cool play on words. Summer Daze, you know, D-A-Z-E. But it could also sound like Summer Days, D-A-Y-S, Days in the Summer. I like it. My box did not come with cellophane. I ordered this brand new from Macy's. No cellophane. Not a big deal. I'm just letting you know because I didn't break into this ahead of time, I promise. So we are going to be smelling this for the first time on camera. I'm actually excited. I did take a peek at the note breakdown as I was ordering this one. I like the name, like I just mentioned. I like the look of the bottle. I think it looks pretty sharp. And, you know, it's not just Eternity Summer, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's a little bit of a different twist here. And I don't know. I normally don't get too excited for these. I have high hopes for this one. Somewhat, at least for an Eternity Summer Edition. So let's try it. Nothing really new here of the bottle, of course. No caps. Atomizer just built in. Atomizer is pretty good. Pushes out a lot of stuff. A lot of juice. Let's start. So it has a little bit of this juiciness that you would expect from a summer fragrance. This nice effervescent brightness, the sparkle, this pop. You could tell right away, no questions asked, that this is a summertime oriented scent, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't think it was last year's Eternity Summer, but there was one a year or two ago that I really liked, but it wasn't your typical summertime scent. It had more of a sweetness to it, believe it or not. It kind of threw me off, but they're kind of going back around to this one having, you know, more of a summertime smell all the way through. So we will take a look at the note breakdown here. Not too much going on, but it is kind of attractive. We've got mandarin orange up top. We have spearmint in the heart. We have lavender, calypsone, and patchouli in the base. So the spearmint note is what got a lot of people interested. I made a post on my community tab, which, by the way, get subscribed and keep an eye on that because I always post good deals and when new stuff launches. A lot of people were saying, oh, spearmint, I need to check that out. And part of the reason why I was so pumped up about this one right away was that note as well. Now, when you really think about it, it could just be a mint note, but they're calling it spearmint instead. These brands will do whatever to market something in a different way. So that begs the question, do I get a mintiness out of this one? And a little bit. I wouldn't quite say it's as strong as I was hoping for and a lot of you were probably hoping for. I want to do another spray off the top in the air. See if I get more. What I'm getting a lot of is the calypsone, okay? And if you look and kind of compare this, calypsone and patchouli, that combination, was used heavily in Azzaro Pour Homme Wild Mint. Now, big differences between the two. Azzaro Pour Homme Wild Mint literally smells like mint chocolate, like straight up. It's sweet, it's potent, it's incredibly strong, it's almost too strong, almost headache inducing. Azzaro Pour Homme Wild Mint, crazy strong stuff. And it uses that calypsone and patchouli in the base, kind of to give off chocolate coming from the patchouli, mint coming from the calypsone, mintiness going on. So I do pick up on the calypsone heavily. So that, in combination with the spearmint note, is kind of giving off this green mintiness. As for the patchouli, it's giving off a little bit of a sweetness, but not nearly to the extent of that Azzaro. It doesn't really give off a chocolatey smell to me, at least not yet. This one is balanced out, much fresher and brighter. I am getting a lot of the lavender, though, so very lavender heavy as well. Kind of at the forefront, the calypsone is almost underneath, but punching through the lavender, if that makes sense. It's a very potent note. But the lavender is kind of there, giving it some support, kind of almost putting a blanket over it and making it a bit more smooth and aromatic. The orange is kind of there up top, but it's more so now as it's settling down. The orange is coming through. It's, again, a mandarin orange. Wanted to double check on that. But it's kind of giving off a little bit of a sweet nuance as well. So what I find interesting is that it's actually really good, like really pleasant. Not a mind blower, but in terms of a lot of the other summer editions from this brand and from a lot of brands in general that do one every year, I think this is better than a lot. You know, I think maybe they made a real effort to put out something that's a little bit different here with this one. The longer it sits, the more the calypsone and patchouli are coming into play here into the forefront. Still not going into mint chocolate territory, but it is still kind of going a step in maybe the slightly sweeter aromatic direction, so to speak. You know, it's not just a fragrance with a boatload of citrus and watery notes and call it a day. That's a summer fragrance, right? There's a lot more going on than meets the eye, I think. Yeah, I'll need to spend some time with this one. You know, I like it a lot, better than a lot of the other ones, but also, you know, I'm not sure where it's going to sit with me in terms of how often I'm going to reach for it. I will say there's this particular part about it that has this almost fruity sweetness. And I smelled it right off the bat when I first sprayed it, but I wanted to think on it. It opens up with this like almost fruity perfume note. So of course this is an Eternity. It's going to be marketed for men. And now as it's settled down, I don't think it's feminine really. But I think that you could almost perceive this one as potentially a little bit unisex, at least right off the top, initial judgment, right? Because it does have that little bit of that fruitiness. Maybe even in the dry down to some, they could see it pushing a little bit unisex in that direction. Depending on who you are, depending on what you're like. If you're a woman, maybe potentially this would be something that you could wear. I don't want that to deter you guys out there because I still do think it is an Eternity. Their target market, of course, is going to be men, but I do think it could almost go a little bit in both directions, and that's kind of how it is with a lot of niche summertime scents when you look at it, right? A lot of niche fragrances built for summertime are unisex. Go either direction depending on who's wearing it. So this one here, I think, kind of has a similar thing. A little bit of that fruitiness, a sweetness, not really a bubblegumminess, but almost like this fruity floral, ever so slightly. I don't know, something I need to think on here. It is an eau de toilette, of course. You know, I'm not expecting wonders out of performance. You shouldn't either. It's a Calvin Klein limited edition summer fragrance, right? Or at least I think it's limited edition. I would think so, isn't it? Yeah, new and limited. So usually how they are. So don't expect wonders. You know, the brand itself doesn't have good reputation for strong performance. But I think right now it's coming off strong, and I think having that good dose of calypsone in there with the patchouli, I think this one might actually have above average performance, at least especially for a Calvin Klein and for a summer fragrance within this category, because smelling it on my skin right now, it's pushing strong. Granted, it's not even been 10 minutes, but usually, at least for me, I've been doing this long enough to where when I smell something and I do a first impressions, I'm already betting in my head, okay, is this going to be long lasting? I can kind of tell by its presence on my skin. I can tell by where it's sitting in terms of how it's developed. And a lot of times I end up being relatively right. If it's going to be a good performer or not, I'm able to make those predictions. And I think this is going to be at least decent. I would say 6 hours would not be an unreasonable assumption here with this one. Could even go a bit longer. And I think projection in the heat will do nice as well. Quality is great, you know, it for the price especially. At discounters, when it's going to be there at some point, quality is really nice. At retail, of course, that's kind of just an unfair judgment because there's going to come a point where no one's going to be paying retail for this one. I like to judge the quality, the performance on the inevitable discount price, which will be, you know, $20, $30 or whatever. And at that price point, I think this is going to be a very nice pickup. That's going to do it for me. Eternity Summer Daze, D-A-Z-E. I like it. I need to think on it a little bit more. I need to test it a bit more. Of course, I want to test it in this upcoming warmer weather. But it's I don't want to say better than I expected, but it's really nice. And the spearmint note isn't too awfully strong, but it's there. Mintiness, calypsone, green, aromatic, whatever. Not a whole lot of citrus either, which is a different take. I think this is a step in the right direction of putting out something that's at least a little bit different. If you've tried this new one, let me know what you think down below. If you haven't, are you excited to? Remember, I will link this one down below to discounters so you can check it up and pick it out. Check it up and pick it out? Or how about pick it up and check it out? Check it out, pick it up, check it out. You do whatever order and however you want to word it is how you should do it. Link down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.